Hey there, welcome to part 2 of building an AI native business using Cowork. Let's get started. If you've not watched part 1 of this video, I'll put the link in the description below, so do check it out. So today we are going to be handling a different use case. So far in this example, we are kind of making up a business that actually sells a hardware product, right? And we are trying to see how we can build various functions of that particular business using Cowork. When I say build various functions, I don't really mean building it. I'm talking about how can you actually add that AI layer that sits very closely with where humans actually do work and where you as the boss or the CEO needs complete visibility on what is happening. AI is going to bridge the gap for you instead of relying on 1 or 2 additional employees. Hope that makes sense. So this time what we're going to be looking at 3 things. See, any business that actually makes things needs to look at this. First is on a daily basis, what they need to do is they need to produce parts. So for instance here, this right here is basically an Excel sheet that actually contains the production outflow. So let's just take a single row. So production ID is a unique ID. Here's the date. What is the shift in which that part was actually produced? What is the station? And what is the product SKU? This is something that's very, very important. What is the name of the product? What is the operator ID? This is very, very important because at the end of the day, you want to ensure at an operator level if products are being produced correctly, the right quality, and tomorrow if there's a customer complaint, you on say AirSense Pro, you look at the SKU, and from the SKU you look at its production ID, and from the production ID you are able to figure out who the operator is, right? Just to kind of bridge that gap, you need to ensure that your data model requires all of this. Again, I can't insist this enough. The most important thing before you apply that AI layer in your business is to have the required data model as I've shown here. All right, so then you basically have what's the target quantity of units, what's the number of units that has been completed, number of units that has been rejected, rework quantity, so on and so forth. The target quantity is something that we have assumed right now. Later on, I'll tell you how you can actually use AI to figure out what the right target quantity should be. All right, so we're going to be looking at 2 more things. One is sales orders, because at the end of the day, when you get a new sales order, you are shipping out products. And second, you also need to look at your inventory. Production is basically how many units you're producing, and inventory keeps track of how many units are already there in place, and sales is nothing but how many new orders are coming in. So we've also set up a couple of trackers, and this again requires strong data modeling skills. I'll kind of go over them in brief so that if you're having a similar business, you start setting up Excel trackers the same way. So first, let's look at sales D2C orders, because this is probably the most easiest one to understand. Okay, I hope you can see this. So first one is the order line ID, and then you have the order ID itself. So lines is if you have multiple manufacturing lines in your business, you could actually have it. If you just have a single manufacturing line when the product is made across multiple stations, you can skip order line ID or just have it as a single value. That's up to you. Then you have the order date, that is the date in which someone has actually ordered your product. Then you have the channel, which could be Shopify, Amazon, or any other marketplace. Then you have the channel order reference, customer ID, the name of the customer city, customer name, SKUs, all of that, right? What is the product that they've ordered? What is the quantity? What is the unit price? So on and so forth. Now, we still haven't touched marketing, right? When we will actually touch marketing, you will actually see that we may create a new sheet which actually keeps track of where each and every purchase came from. This is very important because if you're spending marketing money, you want to understand, which campaign led to the most sales, right? But that is for a different day. Right now, we need sales data to purely understand how many products should we be making on a daily basis or a weekly basis, right? Because this just tells you the amount of orders. The next thing that you want to keep track is inventory movement. This can be a little bit confusing, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So what is inventory movement? See, at the end of the day, your warehouse is where all the products are kept. Products enter your warehouse from your production floor, right? Now, obviously, both of this might be in the same location, but for learning purpose, just assume that your warehouse is a single place where all the products are stored, okay? And when you produce a product, it goes into the warehouse. And when someone orders a product, it actually goes out of the warehouse. Now, obviously, someone can order your product, find it defective and return it back. In that case, that would actually be an inflow as well. And you need to keep track of this movement. And that is exactly what we have in this particular sheet. So the moment ID is a unique ID that represents each in or out movement. Okay. So the date in which the movement happened. What is the movement type? Purchase in, which means this is direction incoming, and this is the SKU ID for it. This is the product name. This is the quantity. There is actually a reference type here, and then the reference ID, who is the employee who handled, and number of units. Now in this particular case, the movement type is purchase in because this is a product that we are just purchasing from, say, China or some other white labeled service provider. We purchase their product, we then put in our own branding and we sell it, right? So that also comes into stock movement, and that is what purchase in is. Now obviously a customer might actually end up buying the product. In that case, you will see the movement type as sales out, which means this is actually a product that is basically going out after a customer has purchased. Now you might actually have multiple other status as well. For example, here you see I have production in, which means a freshly made product or a freshly made stock is coming in for a particular SKU. Then you also have scrap out. So this could be products that have been damaged and you need to just send it out. So there are a few more other types that are listed here as well. But yeah, you probably know what is key for your business. Make sure that you have those movement types captured in your tracker. 95% of all the work is actually in this because this is what someone is actually updating on a daily basis, right? Now, you may also think about updating or automatically updating this tracker as well. But I think that is what a traditional SaaS model would do, where you have software tools where all of these movements are tracked and you get this Excel sheet. Now, I'm assuming that you're a startup. In that case, you may not be able to, afford those tools at this point. And also those tools tend to overcomplicate things. So start with a simple Excel sheet, do the data model yourself, and you will be amazed how much AI can actually work out of this. Okay, so now that we have this tracker in place, we want to understand our inventory. So now that we have the trackers in place, let's just go to CloudCowork. I've selected this folder, and here I'm going to say that I have added a couple of new trackers that relate to sales and inventory. Take a look at those. So the next thing that I want to do is build an inventory management agent. So what I'm going to ask is, let's take a holistic approach here. I want inventory management agent. Think of this as an employee who handles inventory for me. How do we go about building this agent along with tools that it requires? So a rule of thumb is, whenever you're handling a complex task, have a chat with it. It tells you what it thinks is a good idea. Sometimes it actually meets exactly what you're looking for, and sometimes it doesn't. In that case, it's very important for you to have that conversation so that you give the required context so that it takes things from there. What should this inventory agent do on a daily basis? Keep stock honest, reorder and stock out watch, post and validate movements, reporting and valuation. That seems good. So here, what I'm basically going to do is, I'm going to basically say that on a weekly basis, this agent needs to work with me to plan production targets. Yeah, because that is kind of what the ultimate use case is, right? You don't want just to look at reports. At the end of the day, the key decision making is, if you have a product in stock, you manufacture less. If you have a product that is seeing an increase in demand, even though you have inventory, you just need to figure out how much you need to, or how many units you need to make additional, so that if there is more sales, you actually are prepared for it. So how do you want to interact? So here I'm basically going to say that, let's do it daily reports being done daily, and weekly reports being done in an automated way using the schedule option. So the /schedule tells CloudCowork to schedule this as a job so that it does this on a daily basis. Now, obviously, in this made up example, the Excel sheet is not getting changed every day. So /schedule doesn't make sense. But if you're actually using Google Sheets, and if you provide the Google Sheets link, which CloudCowork can access, then this system would actually work for you, right? Inventory planning, let's do it every week on Monday. This week, we will do it today manually, right? I think that seems okay. There are a couple of options here: cowork, plugin, skills in this workspace. I would basically just use skills for now. Plugin is something that I want to just tackle later on. So now you can see that it has processed the task, and then this is the key thing here: schedule task, inventory, daily briefing. Now here what I'm basically going to do is say that, hey, let's try it out once, and if I'm happy, let's schedule it. And this is the key pattern that if you're a business owner, you should unlock. Have your data sets, it could be marketing, sales, or whatever, and then build an agent. And then what the agent basically does is go through all of it and comes to you with recommendations. Now, if you're doing marketing where the campaign bids have to be adjusted on a daily basis, and then you need to look at it channel wise, then it's perfectly fine to actually have this agent run on a daily basis as well. Here, the source of truth: if you're tech savvy, you can explore MCP servers so that the data is also pulled from Facebook and Google automatically. But it's perfectly fine if you just go there, download the entire zip file once, and then link that zip file for an agent to process as well. That's okay. But the most important thing, the most important pattern is you say that, hey, here's the data, I want this agent. And an agent typically has tools with which it can analyze the data, and it chats with you. And once it chats with you, it basically says, hey, here is my recommendation based on the data and your chat. And if you can approve it, now if you're a bit skeptical about this entire process, you can then have that recommendation reviewed by a human, right? That is completely possible. So let us actually see. I'm just going to click on cancel here because I think maybe it's just waiting for my input. I'll just click on cancel here and then see if it actually executes the chat. Yeah, it looks like that was the issue. So I'm just going to give it some time, let it run and see what it is. So it's created the agent and also the report. So let's take a look at it. So it says prepared by Arya. That's the name of the inventory agent. You can just give it an Indian name if you want to, or stick with it, that's fine. So here's a quick summary. It says active inventory value is this much, 1 out of stock, 3 low, needing reorder, no SKU projected to order out within 14 days. So you could basically see, look at this SKU, replacement filter, which is basically traded, available is 0, reorder is 150, suggested is 400, and action is PO, right? Raise a PO, which means good to order it right now. Then you have AirSense Pro, manufactured. You can schedule the production, and AirSense Lite, it's manufactured, schedule production, and then for power adapter 5 volt, looks like we need to raise a PO. So then days of cover. So this is essentially looking at every SKU, and then it's just showing you the velocity per day. Basically the speed at which the product is basically getting consumed, right? So AirSense Pro, you can basically see that it's actually moving at 0.07 per day. In other words, 7 for every 100 days. And I think days cover is primarily based on existing stock availability and the current velocity. How many more days would this last? I'm assuming that's 42 days, and that estimated stock out would be the next month, 21st, July 21st. If you think about it, this is very, very high quality work. If you're running a manufacturing business in India, there's a very good chance that, if you're running it out of a smaller city, tier 2, tier 3 city, you may not get the required skilled person to actually be able to prepare projections like this. And that is where I think for $20, CloudCowork does an amazing job. All right, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.